Round 2! I could have been a contender! I could have been a contender! You didn't give me a chance! Cut me! Cut me! Coming up today on the Geekasaurus, we fix some errors that I made in the first video and we see if WoW can fight back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get that out of the way. I apologize, everybody. I originally made the video yesterday, or 2 days ago actually. Yesterday was 4th of July. So I'm glad the world celebrated 4th of July with America. Anyway, I made the video the other day as mainly a way to get my friend Quentin to look hard at Guild Wars 2 because he's going to play it, but then he's going to leave because he's going to go right back to WoW, and I'm trying to convince him that it's not such a great idea, all the money you're dumping into this game. And then after I posted it on YouTube, I was beset, if that's a good word, with people telling me all of the errors I made in the video. So let's cover each one of my errors because I don't want to put out wrong information, do I? The first error that got everybody's panties in a bunch: the max level you can have in World of Warcraft is 85. The max level you can have in Guild Wars 2 is 80. I was wrong. I've been playing a lot of WoW, so 85 was on my brain, and I just kind of used that as the default, and sorry. Let's go on to the next one. Somebody else mentioned I did not give Guild Wars 2 graphics enough credit. It is an absolutely beautiful game. I mean, completely. You stand on a hill somewhere, and you overlook a valley, and it's just awesome. It really is. But here's the issue I have with that. If I were to say Guild Wars 2 looks awesome because it's beautiful and everybody loves it and blah blah blah, whatever, it makes it look like I'm being completely biased. Of course, a game that is 8 years newer than another game should look a lot better, shouldn't it? So, I will admit that the graphics are absolutely gorgeous in Guild Wars 2. I just don't want to put too much emphasis on the fact of how beautiful it is compared to WoW. Okay, because you can't compare a game that's 8 years old versus a brand new one and say the graphics are better. Of course they are. Alright, let's move on to the next one. The glowy weapon. Okay. I did not play Guild Wars 1 very long, so I did not have a really awesome set of weapons and armor in that game. And what I did see of other people, they all sort of had their glowy hands, which I guess was a pretty hard thing to get. But I didn't see stuff like you would see in WoW, which are these massive shoulder pads that glow and, you know, sparklies coming off everything. I do understand, I guess, that Guild Wars 2 is going to have that same kind of thing. I didn't see it, of course, because I've only played every race up to level 14, or every profession up to level 14, roughly. So I've not gotten past 14. So Guild Wars 2 will have glowies and shinies and stuff like that. So, I was wrong. Alright. Mr. Lou Lakion, a few minutes ago, posted, "Hey, you forgot to mention the guest system of Guild Wars 2 at transfer comparison." Okay. So, Guild Wars 2 will have a guest system. And it means that if I'm a friend with somebody and I want to play with them, I can play with them anytime I want, no matter what server I'm on. So I really don't technically even need to train servers. I played a little bit of that with some friends of mine that were on another server, and we could group up across server, which I think is really cool, right? The only thing you can't do across server is PvP with each other. That way you can't build some awesome PvP team and just ruffle stomp everybody. Okay, the next thing. At the community comparison, you didn't mention the large dynamic events. Well, that's actually going to be in this video in round 2, so we'll get to that in just a minute. And at the accessibility, you give points to WoW, but Guild Wars 2, when you go to level 50 level, you can visit level 25 areas and get rewards. Okay. You're right. I gave the win to WoW because it was just getting beat down hardcore. So I had to give it something, right? Okay, so we're going to go on with the video now, and we're going to talk about round 2 and see if WoW can fight back. Here we go. As you've been watching, you probably noticed that the game in the background is not Guild Wars 2. It is not. It is World of Warcraft. So for those who have been hardcore Guild Wars 1 fans and never even played WoW, this is your chance to see WoW in its glory. This is the best possible way it's ever going to look. I am running it on DirectX 11 with my twin 6990 video cards in Crossfire at very high resolution with every single effect turned up to maximum. So this is it. This is WoW at its max. Let's talk interface. World of Warcraft's base interface is just crap. I played it for probably, what, a year almost with that interface, and then they finally started coming out with some good add-ons. Maybe not even a year. I think I made it maybe 6 months. So, the add-ons, which we'll cover in just a second, will change the interface, and that's what you're looking at right now. I have several simple-to-use add-ons that enable me to do a lot more powerful things in WoW than I could do with the standard interface. Sure, I could probably do it with a standard interface, but the ability to adjust the interface makes it kind of nice. This is the interface in Guild Wars 2. As you notice, it's a little bit simpler. You have 5 buttons on the left and 5 buttons on the right. And you have a map and a chat window, and that's roughly it. They have not mentioned whether or not they're going to have an interface add-on option, or if you'll be able to change the interface around. I heard interface being moved around will be definitely be available, but as far as add-ons go, don't know yet. So, unfortunately for Guild Wars 2, we're going to give this round to World of Warcraft. We'll talk about add-ons in just a second, but for interface, the adjustability of the interface on World of Warcraft makes it kind of better. Alright, we just mentioned add-ons, so let's talk about add-ons in general. Add-ons can actually enhance a game. As we see here, I have HealBot, and there's a lot of people out there who totally don't understand HealBot. They'll say, oh, I use Grid because HealBot's too easy or something. They have no clue what they're talking about. Because the word bot is in the name, people that are unfamiliar with HealBot assume that it's a bot. It has nothing to do with a bot. It's exactly like Grid. You say what buttons you want to assign for what, or what mouse buttons you want to assign for what spell, and yada yada. Anyway, so HealBot. I can have this little thing I can hover over. I can left click to do this, middle click to do something else, right click to do something else, shift, right, middle, and basically I just play whack-a-mole with my HealBot and don't even watch what's going on the screen. One bag add-on, which opens up all your bags at once. You don't have to dig through your bags. Auctioneer, which makes auctioning really easy. My button mod, which here is dominoes. So there are benefits to add-ons. Where do add-ons actually ruin a game? Recount. Recount has single-handedly almost destroyed WoW. Why? Well, because basically it's a combat log parser. It takes in what you're doing in combat, or actually across the entire party, and then displays it in a nice graphical manner. As you can see, it's right here. You can see it moving up and down. It's showing right now how much healing I'm doing. Well, if I'm a really sucky healer, people can tell right away. If I'm a terrible DPS, people will know right away. And it's enabled people that are griefers. You know, they think they're elite, or they're elitists. And if you don't play a certain way, if you don't use your 1 through 0 keys to do combat and you actually click or anything like that, they're elitists out there and they really have raging insecurities. And so the way to feel superior to other people is they can use recount as a way to say, look dude, you suck because you're only doing this DPS. And their point is semi-valid, so it makes it seem like it's reasonable to do and to act that way and to have that sort of behavior, whereas it really isn't. It's not acceptable to sit there and call people out who might be new to the game, trying to learn. You might be able to say in a nice way, hey, look, you need to, why don't you try this out or that out? And that's a good way to do it. But 9 times out of 10, these are teenage kids that just have zero patience, and they will call you out in a heartbeat and say, you suck, and then kick you from the group because you're not performing well enough according to recount. So add-ons are good. Combat add-ons, as far as parsers and things like that, not so good. And then where do you draw the line, right? So I will actually have to give this win to Guild Wars 2 for not allowing any add-ons as of yet. When they do allow add-ons, I hope it's more for cosmetics, being able to make your map a different shape or moving your buttons around and stuff like that. But as far as combat parsers, recount, that sort of add-on, not going to see that. I don't want to see that. Alright, let's move on. Let's talk directly about questing. Questing in World of Warcraft is just like this. You walk up to a quest giver, and this is the old days. Let's walk up to a quest giver. He has an exclamation point over his head. And this quest giver will say a huge paragraph, or maybe 5 paragraphs of text where it would scroll through word by word, and it took forever to get to the very bottom. But it was supposed to build immersion. You were supposed to really be into learning about the quest that you were going on. And people are impatient, especially if they're playing alts and they've gone through a quest a certain number of times. They don't want to hear all of that again. So at some point they made it to where you could just skip the whole text, and then that got to even be too much. People didn't even want to do that, so they weren't even reading the quest text at all. And so there was some add-ons that came out, like Quest Helper, that would just basically show you a dot on the map saying go here to do part 1, go here to do part 2, go here to part 3. It just became the ultimate level of laziness, which I can understand, especially if you're playing a lot of alts. It's just such a pain in the neck to have to do all the quests over and over again. And now it's actually built into the interface for WoW. Okay. The quest system in Guild Wars 2 is a right hook across the jaw of World of Warcraft, and here is why. World of Warcraft has enabled something called phasing in recent years. It started out really with Wrath of the Lich King, which allowed you to have multiple phases of something going on. I'll give you an example. Say you're starting off and you were in this village, and you would walk in this village, and the village would say, one of the quest givers would say, I need you to pick 10 apples. And you would go pick 10 apples. When you came back and gave the 10 apples, there would be a little phase change, and all of a sudden around the quest giver would be barrels of apples. It's kind of cute, right? So it showed sort of how the world would change a little bit. And then in Wrath of the Lich King, it got a little bit more complicated, and it was a pain in the neck, actually. There was one spot you had to do your main Wrath of the Lich King dungeon. It was ICC, Ice Crown Citadel. And if somebody was on a quest phase ahead of you or behind you, you couldn't see them. They'd be standing right next to you, and you could not see them because they were in a different phase than you. And it became a complete nightmare. It was such a mess. While phasing is a neat idea, its implementation is just not the greatest in World of Warcraft. So, Guild Wars 2 has something kind of similar, but different altogether. Okay, it brings the same kind of thought that you can change something that's going to happen within the world, and that will affect the entire world the way it's laid out. I'll give you an example. You are walking along a path in Guild Wars 2, and you're trying to get to the next town, and you want to go over there because that's the next area that you want to do your questing in. And as you're walking along, this big text comes on the screen, "The creature in the swamp is coming alive," or something like that. I'm making this up. I know there's something similar to that, but I'm just going to make this up. So you say, okay, what is that? And you look at your map, and on your map you see that there's a skull moving around the swamp to your right. And so you look to your right, and you see this great big huge creature is walking in the swamp. And holy cow, that thing's huge, and I think I should go kill that thing. So you run over towards there, and everybody that was in the area saw the same thing. And everyone's like, let's get this creature in the swamp. And they all charge into the swamp. And you, as an entire huge group of people that are not even grouped together at all, take this big thing down, and you kill it. You're going to get your own special loot from that. You might get a title or a reward, some kind of reputation bonus. All kinds of good stuff's going to come from that. And it's changing the way the world is laid out. And here's how. What'll happen is if you decide to ignore that, that swamp creature could walk out of the swamp, walk into a farmer's field, and start killing all the livestock. So then the farmer sends out a thing saying, help, help, my field is getting attacked. And you ignore that. So then the creature moves out of that field and he walks to the next big area and he starts killing all the kittens. That is what a dynamic event is, a world dynamic event. It's changing constantly. They got the idea roughly from Warhammer Online, which was from Mythic Entertainment, who made Dark Ages of Camelot, and it didn't go so well in Mythic, but I think Guild Wars 2 has it kind of nailed down. So we're going to give questing and events to Guild Wars 2. Okay, the next one that somebody mentioned, let's talk a little bit about scaling. In World of Warcraft, you could be level 85 with all kinds of goodies and glowy shoulders and just epic gear. You're level 400 gear. And you walk into the level 1 area where all the noobs are, and it's laughable. Mobs can just run up to attack you. Actually, they won't, because you're such a high level they usually ignore you, so if you're out there mining or whatever, it's kind of nice. But let's just say they run up and they attack you. So you got so much armored gear, and you don't even hit them. They just fall over dead looking at you. And if you do decide to hit them, it's just a one shot. I mean, it takes more effort to click your mouse than it does to kill this thing. That is not going to be the same in Guild Wars 2. Here's how. You are level 80 with your glowy shoulders and all your stuff. You walk into the level 1 area thinking, haha, I'm going to pwn noobs. Or I'm going to pwn the noob mobs at least. Not going to happen. What they're going to do is knock your health down to level 1. They're going to knock your skills and abilities. You will win the fight, okay? It's not that you're going to get knocked out quickly. But it's going to be hard. You're not going to one-shot anything, ever. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and give scaling to Guild Wars 2. Let's move on. Okay, let's talk a little bit about playing underwater. Everyone likes to play in the water and splashy splashy, right? Okay, well, World of Warcraft during Cataclysm came out with a brand new water splashy splashy area, and it was meh. It was definitely meh. You could move around in the water, but everything was just slower, and then eventually they gave you a free mount, which was kind of nice and spiffy. But it was just, it's just something different. I guess I'm being slowed down now is pretty much all it effectively was. And you could fly, so I guess it was kind of like flying, because you're underwater, so you can kind of up and down in 3 dimensions. But it was still kind of So that was World of Warcraft's attempt at water. Now Guild Wars 2 is going to have 20% of its game taking place underwater. Okay, I'm actually in a building right now, and this is just a big fish tank. I don't have any footage of me swimming around underwater, unfortunately. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, they use actual physics underwater. Your character's going to start out with a mask that enables them to breathe underwater, so you don't have to worry about drowning. That never happens. You won't drown. You're going to get a whole new weapon skill set for every weapon you pick for underwater. So you're going to have a harpoon and maybe some other weapon I think might be usable underwater. I don't have them right off the top of my head. But anyway, when you're underwater, you're going to get 5 new skills. And your movement and everything like that is completely different underwater. It uses real water physics. When you go to stab something, your arm slows down a little bit. You know, bubbles come out. And it's very, very well done. It's not anywhere the same. So it's like a whole new world. It's like a whole new game that you're playing completely underwater. Not even completely comparable between what's going on with World of Warcraft. So let's just say we're going to give this one definitely to Guild Wars 2. I'm sorry, WoW. Let's move on to the next one. This next one is going to be personal story. World of Warcraft has none. Yeah, basically whatever your class is the story you're going to get for your class, and there might be a quest or two to do at different level ranges, like level 10 has a quest for your class, level 20, level 30, level 40, level 50, on up at the 10s, but it's not specifically generated for you. I will have to say that the very best story I've ever played in any game ever, personal story, was Star Wars The Old Republic. Of course, they spent millions on the story and didn't spend $1 for anything else in the game, is kind of why it's so awesome. But Guild Wars 2 has come a long way. It's pretty good. Your story is pretty good. And you can do it or you don't have to. You can actually level all the way up to max level without ever having to do your story. You don't have to do your story at all. You can just go and play in the battlegrounds. But the story is quite nice. For that, I have to give this to Guild Wars 2. There is no story per se in WoW, like a personal story. And choices that you make in the entry part of the game when you're making your character affect the way the story is played out all the way to the end for you. And you can adjust it, like if you say you're really charismatic and you're really not, you decide your character's not charismatic, by picking enough of the ferocity type of answers, you will move up out of the charming and you'll move into ferocity. So you can change it, but the choices you make in the beginning really do affect you. So I'm going to have to give this win to Guild Wars 2. Playing along with not only the story, but a little bit of lore. I will have to say that World of Warcraft kind of came from Warcraft, a real-time strategy game. Not real-time strategy, more of a strategy game. And it didn't really have a real strong lore prior to World of Warcraft coming out. And since then, they've built a really good story, and it's not so bad. It's a good story. There's some stuff in there that I kind of like. On the other hand, Guild Wars 2 has a great lore already built in because they've already had Guild Wars 1. It's almost like if they were to come out with a WoW 2, the lore would be fantastic for WoW 2 because it would be building off of WoW 1. They're not going to be coming out with a WoW 2. The next big project is called Titan, and it supposedly has nothing to do with World of Warcraft or StarCraft or any other type of IP they currently own. So, the lore between the two, Guild Wars 2 or WoW, I'm going to have to give to Guild Wars 2 because it's a little bit more comprehensive and easy to follow. Okay, our next one is going to be a hot button issue. Are you guys ready? Are you strapped in? Here we go. Cash Shop. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Real money, yo. Real money. Pretty much every MMO that has come out has had an issue with gold being the online currency of choice for the particular game you're playing. It could be gold, it could be gil, it could be, credits, whatever. It's a problem. Because to buy things in the game, you have to have credits, correct? Gold. And for you to earn those, you actually have to play the game. If you don't want to play the game and you're just a weekend gamer, you're kind of at a disadvantage because you don't have the time to invest to make the gold that you need to buy the items that you want. In real world, if you don't have a job, you're not going to be able to buy things. So it's kind of the same way in the online games, but there's a way out. And the way out is you actually purchase gold from a third party. When you do that, you're risking a lot of different things, and I'll explain it here in a second. By dealing with a third party, you're opening yourself up to a bevy of problems. And least of which being your account could be hacked or stolen if they ask for things like your account login and password to give you the gold. Never do that. Never, never do that. And it's a little bit like the drug problem here in the United States. Because marijuana is illegal, they have to invest a ton of time and resources into making sure that people are not buying pot. Resources that could be better used for catching other criminals that are more dangerous type of criminals. So, with gold selling, the company that is monitoring it, or the game developer, has to watch, okay, who's buying and selling gold? And they have to devote some of their time to following people and making sure they can catch them. World of Warcraft has had this problem ever since the beginning. And there are countries that have very poor populations that they can actually farm this gold because the people there don't have a job, and they can make $1.25 a day farming gold for this company in another country, or they can go sit on a street corner begging for coins or whatever. So gold farming is quite lucrative. Here is the thing that Guild Wars 2 has decided, or ArenaNet has decided. Let's just not mess with that altogether. How about we sell the gold to the players? Yep, you heard it right. You're going to be able to buy gold directly from ArenaNet. Okay, before you start getting all panicky, remember, gear is not that important in this game. So while, yes, you can buy gold, its only type of currency that it can be used for is purchasing items like maybe a weapon or some armor or some bags, things like that. For buying crafting materials, most crafting materials can be bought with gold, but there are some you have to buy with your own type of currency you earn in the game called karma. And karma cannot be traded. It's currency that you have to earn. So if you need to buy some chocolate chips for your chocolate chip cookie recipe, and I'm not kidding, there is chocolate chips in this game. Oh yeah. So if you have to buy chocolate chips for your chocolate chip cookie recipe, you can buy the flour, the eggs, and the yeast. I think it's yeast. You have to buy your other components, and you can buy those with the gold that you purchased or that you earned. And you then have to buy the chocolate chips with your karma. Okay, so don't panic yet. First off, you're not buying gold. You're not buying gold. You're buying gems. Those gems can be traded for gold. We'll talk about that in a second. But those gems are used to purchase things right from the gem store directly. So if you want to buy a cosmetic set of armor, like you want to buy, there's a scholar outfit, and it kind of makes you look like you're a scholar. It's kind of got some robes and a tassel hat and all this stuff. It's just kind of something to wear. You can buy that with the gems. And that doesn't affect the game, does it? I mean, it's not real armor. It doesn't have any stats on it at all. So it doesn't affect the game. There are dyes you can buy. Dyes don't affect the game. You can't buy dye that'll make you invisible, so it doesn't affect the game at all. The only things that actually affect the game are experience bonuses. There are two main type of experience bonuses. There is the short acting experience bonus, which gives you a huge bonus. It's like 50% experience boost while you're killing mobs. If you do not kill a mob within 30 seconds, it disappears. So that's kind of, you have to make sure you're in an area you're just going to be killing stuff non-stop. The other one is you get 10% for an hour. While that sounds like a lot, the shoulders that I'm wearing here on my little dwarf are a 10% XP bonus forever. As long as I'm wearing these shoulders, I get 10% more experience. I did not have to purchase them directly from Blizzard, but I earned them through playing the game. Alright, so you say, it's obvious that you're playing the game and you earn these things. Well, these people are going to be able just to buy them. Kind of correct, but kind of not correct. Here's why. You can purchase gems directly from ArenaNet, and they don't have their prices set, so I can't give you the actual number, but I'm just going to make something up. I'm going to say you get 500 gems for $1, okay? That 500 gems could be turned into 5 gold. I'm just using this as round numbers just so it's easier to do the math. So you get 500 gems for 5 gold for about $1. So you buy 5 gold for $1. Sounds about fair, right? Well, you through the game can earn money yourself too. So you can go out and kill mobs and get loot and sell the loot and take that money that you buy stuff with, and you can buy gems with it. Isn't that fancy? So then you can turn right around and buy the experience boost. So there is no reason people should be upset about this. Yes, you get an experience boost, but people that play the game can earn money to purchase experience boost too, for the same price that, or for free. You're not even paying a price. You're doing it just by playing the game. So chill out, relax. Alright, so comparing this to WoW, World of Warcraft, or I'm sorry, Blizzard should have done this a long time ago. Okay, don't worry about the gems and all that stuff, but they should have enabled themselves selling gold. They're already looking for millions of different ways to take money from you, like with character transfers and mounts and fun little trinkets and stuff. They're already getting money from you that way. Why wouldn't they sell the gold? Here's why. It screws up the economy, right? It means that, oh my god, gold, if Blizzard was selling gold, the price of a copper bar on the auction house would cost 10,000 gold. It would just go right out of whack. Here's how Guild Wars 2 is going to fight that. They are going to have an economy built in. When you take and buy gold with gems, the prices will start out, say, 10 silver, 500 gold, or 500 gems equal 5 gold right now. If 50,000 people start on that server start buying gold with the gems, you're going to get less and less gold for every gem. And so that's how the economy is going to work. And vice versa. If people are buying tons of gems, the price of gems are going to go up. So every day when you go to buy gems on your server, it's going to have a real economy built into it. So it's protecting itself from huge varying waves of gold and gems. Okay, so you can't have it be where you're going to buy 1 copper bar for 10,000 gems. This is a very, very sophisticated economics model, and I'm not going to go into any more detail right now, but just know that the economy's safe inside the game. Yes, you can purchase gold with dollars, real money, whatever, pounds, euros. You can purchase gems and gold with it, okay? But you can also earn that same amount of stuff by just playing the game itself. And it doesn't have subscriptions, so if you're really a big hardcore gamer, you don't have to pay a penny. You can still get the experience bonuses and all the other fun stuff. You just have to work at it a little bit harder than everybody else that has the money to do it. Let's move on to our next one. Okay, so that was a win for Guild Wars 2, and we're going to talk next about the mobile app. Guild Wars 2 is going to be completely socially connected to all the different types of social outlets. But Blizzard has had an app for a while that enables you to purchase stuff on the auction house, sell stuff, that kind of thing. It costs a monthly fee. Guild Wars 2 is going to have something similar, but it's actually going to be much more comprehensive. It's not just doing stuff on the auction house. You'll actually be able to keep track of your server's battle conditions, of how they're doing in World versus World. You'll be able to craft. So, talk about lost productivity. You'll be sitting in your office looking at your phone and you'll be like, okay, I need to craft 6 more of these things and I make 7 more of those. And you'll be able to do it all through your phone, and it's actually affecting your account. They don't have a price yet as far as release goes, so we're going to give this a tie for right now. But I kind of think that this is going to be much more comprehensive kind of mobile app than... If you watched the video yesterday or the day before, and you've watched this one now, you've watched over an hour of me rattling on about the differences between the two games. The final difference I want to mention right now, and I know somebody's going to come up and say, oh, you forgot this, and you mentioned that wrong, and you didn't do this, and Polly Prissy Pants says you didn't do that, and you have to do that because Polly Prissy Pants is the bomb, man. So I know I'm going to offend Polly Prissy Pants, and that's okay. But I want to say that through all of these different things we've mentioned and we've talked about, what is the main underlying thing that you can see between the two games? It's the company. It is one company that is very obviously going after a massive profit, and another company which seems like on the surface, how are they going to survive? Well, through the transaction store, it's been actually proven that people will spend more money on microtransactions every month, like buying little trinkets and stuff, than they will on a subscription fee. So I don't think ArenaNet's going to be hurting, alright? So let's not worry about them for that. One company appears to care mostly about the bottom line and their shareholders and dollars and all that. The other one seems to care more about you as a gamer. And I think that's the main reason I am pretty much done with World of Warcraft and Blizzard. I'm done. And it has nothing to do with the fact the game is better or worse or whatever. It has a lot to do with the attitude of the company. I think that they are really resting on their laurels. Diablo 3 was absolutely horrible. It was a $20 game, and they had the balls to ask for $60, $70 for that game. Sure, you could have bought the 1-year pass for World of Warcraft and got it for free. It was definitely worth free. That it's not a $60, $70 game. And it just kind of shows to me that that's really what they're doing. They're resting on their laurels. They know they've got the crowd. They've got the huge numbers every month paying the subscription fee. And Myths of Pandaria are just a bandage on a gunshot wound. It's nothing new and innovative at all. Okay, so the whole Pokemon battles thing and all of that, it's nothing. It's nothing. So most of us, the reason you've watched an hour of me talking about these things is you're curious about Guild Wars 2 and how it compares to WoW. It's not a comparison. I've gone through the videos and I've kind of like sometimes said WoW was a little bit better at that. It's just me being kind, because there's nothing left in World of Warcraft that has any interest to me at all. So all I can say is, let's move on. Let's check out ArenaNet. Let's see if they can do what Blizzard did and do it 10 times better with more appeal to gamers and having more of a kind community. I think it's going to be awesome. So I know I sound a little bit like a fanboy at this point. I'm not trying to sound like a fanboy. I'm just basically saying I'm absolutely fed up with Blizzard, their attitude towards things, and their kind of money-grubbing ways. I mean, once they found out that this game was going to have free character transfers, they should have opened up character transfers for free, right? Do something. Don't just sit there and keep charging us $25 to transfer one character from one server to another. Don't keep charging us the subscription price that you are. Subscription models are pretty much going to go away. If you're playing a game right now that still has a subscription, look out, because there's going to be a lot more of games coming out like Guild Wars 2 that are going to remove subscriptions altogether and just have cash shops. It's better for them. They can control the gold. They can control the prices. And you would rather buy gold from them than from some guy in some other country and having risk your account getting attacked. And it's instant when you buy it from the ArenaNet if you buy it from another country, you have to wait till somebody delivers it to you, and there's always that, oh my god, they just scammed me and took my money kind of thing. So this is the new model. This is what modern MMOs are going to become, is more like Guild Wars 2. It's not perfect. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying, comparing it to WoW, it is the bomb. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Please subscribe to my videos. I am totally impressed with the amount of stuff you guys said. And the other one, lots of comments, lots of great stuff. And I promise I will do my best to answer every one that I can. And, you know, as you see, I mentioned a lot of the things that people were critical of me in my other video. And I am not afraid to take some criticism. So if you have issues, let me know. Either I'll reply to you, or I can even make a video and talk about exactly what you mentioned, like we did with the other guy. So keep on watching. More videos to come. Thanks a lot, everybody, and until next time. Oh, wait a second. Forgot something. Mounts. World of Warcraft has mounts, and big mounts. You run around, and these mounts, you show off how awesome you are because you've got this big dragon you're riding around on. Which is cool. I admit it's kind of neat looking, right? Don't need them in Guild Wars 2. You want to go from point A to point B, you click a spot in the map, and you instantly travel there. Done. Don't have to wait 5 minutes of flying from point A to point B on your mount. While it looks good while you're in a city, while you're out in town, or when you're out in the areas you're flying from point A to point B, it's incredibly slow. So no mounts, at least not yet. And I don't think they have any plans for it, because you'll be able to travel anywhere you want on the map by just clicking. So there we go. Okay, now I'm done. See ya!